Welcome. Today I'll be teaching you guys how to build a very basic wire guided missile. Now I've got my bot standing over there in the corner, frozen in place. I'm sorry bot, you'll be my test dummy. So what we first want to do is we want to go into the search bar in the spawn list here and just type PHX and click enter. Now here we have all the missile types that you guys can use. Either one should work, not a problem. But I do suggest using the ARAM missile. Now to get started, what we will do, look at the ARAM missile, we'll just chuck it on its side. And we want to first, we'll start off with target finder. So make sure your target finder settings are the same as mine. So we go minimum range 1, maximum range, just put 9s in there. Maximum number of targets, that is, set to 1. Maximum number of bogeys to 30. Minimum range to 1, and target players checked if you do want to target players. If you want to target NPCs, you tick that. If you don't want to target yourself or your stuff, you tick either of those two boxes. You don't really need anything else ticked. I really don't advise you to. The color filter is just rubbish. You can also put a name filter. So if I want to target myself, put my name in there. I don't even have to type that. I can literally just type poo. Or if I want to target the bot, I would say, but just put bot in there. But if I have multiple bots on the world, then I have to put the bot's full name, which here is bot01. So we'll put that on the missile. And now we want to get a gate, and we want to get a entity gate. Go to chips and gates, entity, and we'll go position, spawn that position gate in. Now we'll wire up the position gate entity of the position gate to the entity output of the target finder. Now we want to go back to gates and we want to go down to vector, and we'll get a subtraction from the vector. So what the subtraction gate does is it subtracts the player position and it subtracts the missile position. So now we're going to get a GPS. We'll spawn that on there, and now we can subtract the missile's position, which is a vector of the subtraction gate, to the missile position vector, or the GPS vector. You don't need to do recall vector. And B vector on the subtraction gate to your position, your player position. Now we want to spawn a thruster on the back. You can set your force multiplier to 10,000 if you want. Bidirectional, works out of water, works underwater. All ticked. Force maximum, make sure that's 10,000 or any other number. Force minimum 0. So spawn that on the bottom. And we also want a vector thruster for the top. So force multiplier for the vector thruster. If you want sort of sharper turns, you'd set this a little bit higher, so let's say 4,000. Force minimum 0. Force maximum, just make that 10,000 or the maximum. Bidirectional, works out of water, works underwater. Mode, XYZ world. We only need XYZ world, not local or local and world. Just world. And we don't need to tick that either, to use yaw/pitch. Put that on the nose of the missile. And then wire, oh, that's right, we need to set a rotation for it. So literally just click once and it'll ask you to rotate it. It really doesn't matter in this case. And then click again and you'll spawn it down. So now we have mul and vector is what we want to wire up. So we do have to get a keypad input, or numpad input in this case. So we'll go key number 1 on numpad 1. Make sure it's toggle and value on is 1, value off 0. Toggle. And when I press key number 1, it'll turn on this rear thruster, and then change this key to key number 2. So when I click key number 2, it'll turn on the vector thruster. So now wire MUL on the vector thruster to your key number 2 numpad wire input, and same with the bottom thruster, wire A on that to your number 1. Now all we have to do is wire vector of the vector thruster to the vector output of the subtraction gate. So we're just telling our vector thruster now where the player position is. and where to aim it from where the missile is orientated. So now, if we launch the missile how it is currently, it'll be pretty heavy and it will fly pretty slow. So I do suggest using a weight tool of some kind. You don't need to, but I do suggest it. The default weight is 200, which is pretty heavy. So if we set that to 20, the missile, the component, if you set it too light, the components you'll see will droop off the missile. Like if I set here this to 1, you'll see that the components will sag off the missile, which we don't want, because then your vector thrust is all floppy at the front. So we'll set that to 20. I think that's a good weight. If you do have more components, you might need a heavier missile. So now we'll stand it up. Don't want to make it explode. And we'll just set it down. Now I'm going to duplicate this just in case we've broken something. Always duplicate it. I'm going to use Advanced Duplicator 2 for this and spawn down the duplicated version. Freeze your original version so that doesn't fly off as well. And make sure you unfreeze your duplicated, and then we can launch it just as a test. So if I here click 1, it'll go up, and then I click number 2, it'll come back down and it'll track the bot. Because you see here my vector thruster at the front, it'll always aim towards the bot. So it always wants to send the missile towards the bot. If you guys really like this video, please like and subscribe, it'll help me out a lot. If you guys do have any sort of anything you want to suggest to me that I can help you guys create or build, just post a comment down the bottom or send me a message on Steam, not a problem. And I'll see you guys later.